The future is very bright for Call of Duty. Let me explain. There's obviously always going to be those COD haters that read the title or hear me say that and they're going to be like, oh no, Call of Duty's dead. Which if you look at the numbers, that could not be farther from the truth. Call of Duty is literally the biggest that has ever been. But following the whole Microsoft Activision acquisition thing, I truly do believe that the future of Call of Duty is probably the brightest that it has ever been, or the brightest at the very least that it has been in a long time. Y'all know me, it's no secret that I absolutely love this franchise, I love all the games. Even I can admit that things have been a little questionable as to what the direction of the series has been in recent times. Now that Microsoft owns Activision and all of like the developers under Activision, I truly do believe that things are only gonna get better from here. While Bobby Kotick was CEO, it's no secret that, they were all about like the quantity over quality approach. There had to be a Call of Duty every single year, they had to do everything in their power to rack in more money. And while personally, I don't mind it being like that, I mean, I could have it either way, right? Like, if they want to have a Call of Duty every single year, I'm okay with that. I mean, that's how it's been for as long as we can all remember. Personally, I've always loved that COD cycle, getting hyped for the game every year, playing it throughout the year, and then, just having that annual thing to look forward to every year. But on the other hand, I do think it would be pretty cool if they could have like one COD game that goes for maybe like, I don't know, 2 or even 3 years that they just like continuously update. Like, could you guys imagine a Call of Duty Black Ops game where we get like a full 2 years of zombies content, which is what Black Ops 4 was actually supposed to be originally? I think that would be absolutely amazing, and under Microsoft's leadership, I do truthfully believe that we could actually start to see that become a thing. What I'm estimating to be the case is that we're going to have Modern Warfare 3 go as normal, and we're also going to have Call of Duty 2024 go as normal with whatever Treyarch has planned. But I think after Call of Duty 2024, we might see things change. Am I saying things are going to change? No, not necessarily. But I do think that there is a chance that Call of Duty either skips 2025 or they might set themselves up differently for 2025. As we all know at this point, Call of Duty's been trying to do this whole Call of Duty as a platform thing. They got rid of the individual Call of Duty games, and now Call of Duty, like when you go to boot up the application, it's literally just called Call of Duty, and then you have all the different titles there for like Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3. I think starting in 2025, they might try to do like a fresh slate of some kind. You guys remember like up to the launch of Modern Warfare 2, how they were announcing like, oh, it's like a whole new era for Call of Duty. We got COD next, we got Warzone 2 coming in, and they were really trying to switch things up there. I think we might see another thing like that in 2025 where they really try to revitalize Call of Duty. Am I saying that'll be the case? No, not necessarily, because I mean, none of us know anything like at all, because I mean, this acquisition literally just happened like 2 days ago at the time of me recording this, so nobody really knows anything yet, and I don't even think Activision and the COD devs and even Microsoft themselves know yet. I mean, who knows? Maybe they do. Maybe they have some things, drawn up behind the scenes. Maybe they're already planning some things, but yeah, it's very unlikely. I'm just going off of the facts and what we already know. Look at any other live service game that Microsoft has done. They don't do yearly series, like, ever. I know this may be a bad example to some, but, look at something like Halo Infinite. That's been going on for like 2 years at this point, and it's going to be going on for the foreseeable future. Is it possible that we see, I'm not saying that it's actually going to be called this, but could we see like a Call of Duty Infinite of sorts? Considering the direction that Call of Duty's already been trying to take with like this whole Call of Duty as a platform type thing, I wonder if we get to a point where we get like a Call of Duty Infinite type game, and then it comes out and it's just like a platform that the developer, like all the developers come together and work on. We have like this massive Call of Duty platformer like Treyarch, Infinity Ward, Sledgehammer, Raven, like everybody's like putting their all into this thing, and then we just have this like Call of Duty game that's just like continuously supported. And then inside of that Call of Duty game, every couple months or like, maybe like once a year, right, we get like a DLC or an expansion or something, and that happens to be like the next campaign for whatever like Call of Duty universe is getting their campaign that year. So like one year we could get like, I don't know, like a campaign for Modern Warfare, and then the next year we get like a Black Ops expansion, comes out for like, I don't know, maybe like 20, 30 bucks. I'd say like 30 bucks would probably be fair for like a campaign. And then as per usual, we get all the usual content like multiplayer and zombies. And then maybe it could even be like the thing that I've been asking for literal years at this point, where I would love to see like, I'm not even kidding when I say this, I would like to see Call of Duty Mobile on console, just because it is, like, it's literally just like a best of Call of Duty, which is what I feel like a lot of Call of Duty players want. But under Microsoft's leadership, I wonder, because, they have a history of doing stuff like this, of making best of type games. I mean, just look at like the Master Chief Collection for Halo. I wonder if we could maybe finally even see something like that, whether it be tied to something like this Call of Duty Infinite idea, or maybe it be something else entirely. Again, I'm just spitballing here, I'm just speculating, none of this has been confirmed, none of this has even been leaked or rumored. This is literally just ideas that I have going off of Microsoft's past and, things that they're doing now. Or, on the other hand, none of this could happen, and Call of Duty could continue on as normal, just like, being the yearly franchise, which I don't know how feasible that really is. I don't know, man. If you look at the past couple Call of Duty releases, it seems like they're just barely getting these games out on time, and it's been like a struggle behind the scenes just from what we've been. I mean, dude, when you boot up Call of Duty, have you guys seen just how many like developer screens are credited there? It's almost laughable, okay? It's almost comical how many developers are there. I understand Activision really wants to get these Call of Duties out on a yearly basis, but when you need like thousands of developers and like 10 plus development studios to make it happen, like, I don't know, man. It's not 2009 or 2010 anymore, you know? Like, those games as feature-rich as, like, Modern Warfare 2, the OG one, and Black Ops 1 were, I mean, those games, just like from a graphical standpoint alone, were much less complex. Because Lord knows that a ton of time goes into like developing the graphics and all the assets and stuff like that just to make these games look pretty on a fundamental level. Not to mention all the other in-depth and complex systems that they have going on, but you know, just like whether it be in the coding or the animations or just like literally anything else that makes these games what they are. So who knows? We might get to a point now with Microsoft owning the IP where they say, hey, this isn't feasible. We can't have all these devs doing this. Like, could you imagine too? Like, what if maybe like say they stop doing Call of Duty on a yearly cycle and they just have like a handful of developers, like, you know, like Sledgehammer, like the big four, Raven, Sledgehammer, Infinity Ward, Treyarch, you know, they have them all just hone in on Call of Duty, and then like Vicarious Visions and Toys for Bob and all these other developers can go off and do their own thing again. Man, could we finally see like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 get a remake, and then, I don't know, maybe like more Spyro and Crash games? I'm just saying, I would absolutely love that. I mean, if y'all know me, I grew up with like, you know, like the original Crash Bandicoot and Spyro games on like the PS1 and stuff like that, so that would just be like, man, I don't. It would just be amazing to see those games come back and get like new entries in their franchises. But beyond all that, no matter what they end up doing with the franchise, whether they keep it a yearly thing, whether they try to spin it off and make it a platform, with Activision and Call of Duty and all that being owned by Microsoft at this point, I trust Microsoft, and I think things are only gonna go up from here. And with that being said, yeah, man, I'm really freaking excited to see what Microsoft does with this series, because like the you know, the possibilities are literally like limitless at this point. They could either leave it alone and let them continue to do what they're doing now, or they could try to switch things up and they could try to do something really interesting with Call of Duty. Like I've been saying for almost 2 years at this point, ever since this whole acquisition thing started, which it's crazy to say that, but yeah, it's almost been a full 2 years. It took 20 months for this, you know, acquisition to close. But they could finally make like a Master Chief type collection for Call of Duty, make like, I don't know, the Captain Price collection, where they like remaster and put out all the OG Modern Warfare games, and then they could do the same thing for like Black Ops, make it like, I don't know, like the Black Ops collection. Like all the, you know, Black Ops games in there outside of Cold War. You know, Cold War is pretty, I mean, unless they want to bundle Cold War in there, I mean, at that point, who knows, maybe the Cold War could be considered old enough to be bundled in there. Just make it so that all the Black Ops games are in there together, whether they're remastered or not. It could just straight up be ports. Just make like a nice Master Chief or, you know, type collection for the Call of Duty games. You could split them up into their own universes, like I was saying, have one for the Modern Warfare games, have one for the Black Ops games, or you could bundle it all together and just make like the Call of Duty Legacy collection, where it's just like all the Call of Duty games from like Call of Duty 1 all the way up until like, I don't know, maybe like MW 2019, because I feel like anything before MW 2019 is considered like a legacy Call of Duty at that point, just because, you know, they really switched the formula up with MW 2019, and Call of Duty just really hasn't been the same since then. That's when we started seeing things with like, you know, Warzone and the Gunsmith, and, you know, they just took like a much more realistic approach, I guess, to the games. Call of Duty always had that like hint of realism, but like MW 2019 is when they started really going like all in on it, because before, like, they always still had those arcadey elements, but MW 2019, yeah, that's definitely when they started to lean into the realism. We got the tax spreading and all that other stuff, and MW2 took it to like a whole other level. And the most exciting part that I was saving for last, just because like this is almost a guaranteed at this point, but I think we're about to see a huge revitalization and a huge just like revival for the OG Call of Duty games, because now that Microsoft owns Activision, I think they're going to put every single Call of Duty into Game Pass. Will it happen all at once? I don't know, but I think they're going to put all of them into Game Pass. And maybe not the new ones, like MW 2019 and onwards. I don't know if those are necessarily going to go in Game Pass just because they're more recent, but I think Black Ops 4 and back, I think they're going to put those into Game Pass, and they may even include all of the DLC with the Game Pass thing. And if they do that, dude, like, the old Call of Duties, they're gonna have, like, a whole second life. Could you imagine every Game Pass owner getting access to all the DLC in Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3, Black Ops 1, World at War? Like, even if they wouldn't do the Xbox One or PS4 generation Call of Duties, like, even if they would just stick to the OG ones and do, like, Call of Duty Black Ops 2 and back, that is still massive. We saw just how, like, big the servers got for those old school Call of Duty games once they fixed the servers over on Xbox. They literally jumped up to, like, you know, the top of the sales charts. So just imagine if they put them on the Game Pass. Even if they don't do the newer Call of Duties, like I was saying, literally, even if they just do the Xbox 360/PS3 generation of Call of Duties, like that's still gonna be huge, and we're gonna see like a full revival for those games. And it's gonna be one of those things where like I don't think it's gonna be like the other revivals where they just come back for a little bit and then they die down. No, I think that there would be dedicated communities that literally just, whether they play it for the first time or whether they're returning to it for the first time in years, I think that those games would be able to maintain their player base for literal years to come. And I can tell you right now, I would be one of those players. As I've said many times, I've been playing Call of Duty for literally like over 15 years at this point. So being able to go back and like, relive those classic games, especially something like Black Ops 2, where that's literally my favorite Call of Duty of all time, dude, that would be massive. I mean, granted, I still have all my copies of the OG Call of Duty games, so I could go back and, quote unquote, relive them or play them at any time. But like, if it gets put into Game Pass, that's an influx of new players, old players returning, and just like a full revitalization and revival of the player base. I don't want to get anyone's hopes up. I'm not saying that any of this will happen. Again, all of this is just speculation, and it's not even speculation necessarily. It's literally just ideas that I'm throwing out there. But the main thing I want to get across with this video is that the possibilities are literally limitless at this point, and it's all up to Microsoft as to what they want to do with Call of Duty and all of other Activision's IPs really at this point. Just all I know is that I'm super excited, and I truthfully do believe that the future is very, very bright for Call of Duty. But anyways, now I'd definitely love to hear from you guys. What are your thoughts on everything that we talked about in this video? Whatever it is, whatever you're thinking, I'd definitely love to hear from you guys. Anyway, as always, a massive shout out and thank you to all the patrons and channel members. Thank you to all of you in the low baller tier. New mega shout out, thank you to all of you in the big baller tier. Mel asking, Big Daddy Manny, and the biggest shout out, thank you to all of you in the G tier. Run Adventures Down the Cheese Girl. Thank you guys so much. You guys are literal legends. I love you. Thank you guys for watching. Have an amazing day. Stay beautiful. I love you all. Peace.